Afternoon, everyone. An important message came through in my message of the day that I just did, so I wanted to bring this to you right away because I have something I need to do before I actually post my big read today. But this was done at 10:30 this morning. 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, 30 is the Union energy of the Four of Wands, and this is my Lenormand Reverie message of the day. Okay. So the birds were tweeting so sweetly as I started this read, as I just cut the deck. It was like a thank you, like their voices were just so sweet outside. I don't usually notice that, but it was so beautiful, I had to notice. And then the underlying energies were the loyal storks coming up, and the first card out was the loving lady looking back and the moon. So here's the message. Deliverance to the cosmic egg, nesting with the sun, a couple looking up at the loving lady at the Y in the road, the birds looking up to her, thanking her for a safe tree in order to nest, and taking care of them with kid gloves. Cancer season, or a Cancer person perhaps, the subconscious and superconscious connection to the birds, love and romance, intuition, imagination and psychic abilities, creativity, water, fame and honor, with emotional illumination in need of the sun's power and reflection to avoid casualties. Spiritually mature, relating to time here of the ancient polar bear mama, gently nudging others to keep going in their own time, staying in the vortex as a feeling point to guide them. The power man and the sun, which the moon then needs to reflect off of, illuminating all regarding the twin bridges to abundance, home, union, and healing the galactic family with hope and dreams come true. The rainbow bridge through the family tree trunk with spiritual birds with power in numbers. Protected by the mountain, not just a block, for the mountain is a prime example of timelines collapsed into one. Birds of prey and polar caps, or mama bear with caps and sensitive to the cold, perhaps needing an examination or just a closer look or an x-ray. Or mountain birds may have picked something up they don't want you to know about. And then the next card in the read was flipped over by accident, so I had to turn it over, and it was the rider. The rider can easily overcome that, riding the rainbow in high vibration vortex, taking her discoveries along with her group to the powers that be, affiliated with the power man of the sun and their secret knowledge that you're not aware of. She was led by spiritual birds to get past blocks regarding timelines, to look closer at details, and that cold mama is just preservation and that side of love, to prepare her for the ride of her life through the establishment with special knowledge that would lead her to the power man of sunshine. And after burning twin bridges, the fox looks back at all the abundance and wise, or the abundance and wishes granted due to her coming into his life. The union a gift, the three wishes in the abyss, and abundance of fish and flow leading to a special gift of union and 5D connection, and work stardom or ability to retire, or find out a dream you had that actually happened. It was real. Perhaps you were living two places at once, perhaps here and in the Pleiades, helping to guard the planet. Now after getting over the rainbow, delivered as the loving man instead of the angry power man that is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So then the two of cups in this deck, which is the two swans, flipped out of my hand as I was putting it down at 11:28, which is justice, and the 28 of the twin flames, the two of wands. Spiritual groups, rod and staff, coming together one-to-one to transcend all time and space, Mount Everest, for breakthroughs trickling down from the poles. You're getting warmer, just north of the equator, traveling to a mountain where the ship got stuck, of Titanic proportions. So here they led me to the Titanic. The Titanic hit the iceberg. This was April 14th to the 15th, 1912. RMS Titanic, 4 days into the maiden voyage from Southampton, England to New York City with 2224 people struck the iceberg at 23:40, the ship's time, on Sunday, 4/14/1912. So the 4/14/12 adds up to 31, and then the 15th, where the ship actually went down, was 32, which is the journey. So again, the conflict on the 31, 32 is the journey. The Ocean Gate, so then there was a new article this week. Ocean Gate submates did their first dive to the Titanic and captures photos on July 13, 21, and this was from financeyahoo.com. Everett, Washington-based company, which is really funny because I have a painting that's Everett, and my brother just moved to Washington, so it's funny that Everett, Washington just came up. But this is the name of the base company here, or the place that they're based from. The stained glass window fragments were found, as well as floor tiles. 2019, a different dive team also reported its deterioration, that it was accelerating, and the report on sea life. So they're doing more testing, and they're going to be going down there regularly. Also talked about how the ship was made that they had to go do this with carbon titanium vessels to withstand the pressures of going down that deep. The coordinates were 41.7325 north by 49.9469 west, and this was 12,000 feet below the surface at 6,500 psi. The bow and stern were separate, a third of a mile apart, in the Titanic Canyon off the coast of Newfoundland. So from foxnews.com, it was 715 miles from Halifax port and 1,250 from New York, and it was due to dock on the 17th, only 3 days later. So it hit an iceberg. There's a photo there of the iceberg 40 hours prior, according to another captain who took this photo a year later from the SS Etonian, who documented the degrees 4150 north and 4950 west on April 12th at 4 p.m. 1913, though, instead of 1912, and that was from MSN.com. So then Plum Island was coming up, because that's not far from Plum Island either, right? Because Plum Island's before you get to New York City, which is, there's two different Plum Islands, though. One is called part of Massachusetts, the other one New York. The one with the animal experimentation is New York. And so the Agricultural Disease Center was built in 1954 by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and then in 2003, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security took it over. 2008, they wanted to sell the land back to the public for a new facility to be built in Manhattan, Kansas. But the market proved unviable for them to be able to sell at the time, where the real reason they wanted to get it off their hands because the island is so toxic. So then the Planning Environment Impact Statement, which this acronym came up in my message yesterday and the day before, EIS, the Environmental Impact Statement for the island, the Planning Environment Impact Statement was requested for the island to determine if it was a public health threat. January 5th, 15, the Connecticut Fund for the Environment, or CFE, and Save the Sound jointly sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the General Service Administration with a 60-day notice of intent to sue them in violation of Endangered Species Act. And then, that was from en.m.wikipedia. And then 12/27/20, Trump actually signed the bill allowing them to have the money that they were promised to clean it up instead of, getting sued if they promised to clean up the contamination on the island. And remember, this was Plum Island, where in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter literally referred to the island as Anthrax Island. So I was looking at the Titanic and Plum Island maps, which are very close, and that was at 12/21. And then EIS, having come up in my headers 2 days in a row this week, the Environmental Impact Statement regarding direction to clean up the fish and homeland security. The cross to bear for endangered species, and fish were definitely coming up in the read regarding this, and the Power Lady with a gift from the House to clean up experimentation on galactic friends, and a portal there that was not what it seemed. Okay, so there's a lot of experimentation between crossbreeding things, and we definitely felt that there was human crossbreeding or galactic crossbreeding being done on that island as well, which is being confirmed here by my read. And a loving man committed to clean it up, and public parks, cracking the whip to cut out the crap with wise guidance to free birds in a breakthrough of a risky venture and a letter from the community about cutting ties in exposure of secrets, evidence, and true direction of the choices that were made, exposing burned bridges and destruction with a cross to bear. And then, of course, with the president at the time, which was just this past year, 12/20, Trump gave the money to clean up what a lady with 3 faces brought on, or the female environmentalist letter to the CFE, or from the CFE to the DHS and GSA, who were not who they seem, a new commitment to clean up the experimentation and pollution of nature, the loving man and the power woman committed to healthy parks and preserves, the burden left by the rats and the snakes, a toxic mess affecting our children, a gift that wasn't what it seemed from Homeland Security. Okay, so they were trying to sell this land back to the public. Trying to sell toxic land back to the public, not caring about our children, the well water, and toxic emotions, where their loyalties lie, in the hands of love, not power. The power man from the establishment with a letter cutting ties, exposed and given a choice to clean up the mess with the president's help, the fish, the plants, the plant life, and then the power lady with the antidote perhaps. On a lesser scale, the power lady may be someone trying to dump their toxic home. She looks abundant and lucky, but may be a venomous snake giving a house as a gift with multiple faces, perhaps to a child, or needs a facelift before they can give it to the child. A loving man committed to testing and commitment to good health, and then loyal to the water supply for the child, making sure that it's healthy. So it's coming up here like there's a power lady who wants to dump the house on somebody else, but there's a loving man who's stepping in to make sure everything's healthy for them or the next. So that was coming up. And then I did a really quick summary again on a lesser level, because that was very much on a country level. The underlying nesting birds looking up to the romantic loving lady for spiritual timing with the powers that be, pushing their agenda, confusing those trying to awaken, and stay centered, while the power man of the sun, who reflects her twin bridges with abundant home and dream family, with lots of birds chattering and mountains to climb, voyages to get stuck on, with details of adventure of Titanic proportions, and secrets of the fox-tailed, leading to 3 wishes, an abundant nature gift of experimentation and research, with loving man who survived the journey, cracking the whip, impatient to connect with true love as she comes round the mountain in a breakthrough of ships and letters of intent and direction, obstacles, religion, and crosses to bear witness to, with the power lady and the power man both hiding their faces, his, hers, and theirs, the 3 faces, and their commitment to the public or parks and recreation, and the dog walking trails. Sudden cutting out or cuts that were made as 2 wise birds, a loving couple, with the key to freedom in a breakthrough about ice upon closer inspection, taking a risk to cut ties with the establishment on a new path, and a toxic mess to clean up to protect the child and the water they drink, the parks they walk their dog in, the loyalties of the loving man and lady at 1:01 to 1:02 p.m. Rise and be love.